Hey everyone, welcome to Board Game Strategery, a show where I'm going to be playing a lot of solo board games. Today's playthrough of Marvel United is going to feature a team led by Iron Man, followed by Shang Chi, whose movie looks like it's going to be sweet, and Falcon, who he's got a really good pose. They are going to be going up against the evil Ultron, who actually functions a lot like his movie counterpart. Here we have the opening hands of all of our heroes. Here we see a dashboard featuring Ultron's abilities. In particular, I want to call out his villainous plot, which is actually really dangerous. I did not give this enough respect the first time I played, and it's exactly like how it works in the movie, where he just builds up this huge robot army until he has so many Ultron clones that he just run over everybody. We have the locations with the corresponding threats, with a shield helicarrier with an Ultron virus, Great Mound with duplication. We've got Xandar with another duplication threat. We have Odin's Vault with an Ultron clone. And let's see, Shuri's Lab with another Ultron clone. And finally, we've got Heimdall's Observatory with an Ultron virus. The first turn is going to kick off with Ultron using a Mesmerize, which doesn't give anybody any crisis tokens, but it does spawn a Thug or an Ultron robot in every location where there are no heroes. So right off the bat, it's five of these Thugs, and I can't do anything about it. Iron Man takes the first turn, draws a Power Recharge, and he will play a card with a move and an attack. The Ultron virus will nullify his move action, but he will use his attack to take out a Thug. Shang-Chi goes next, drawing a card that gives him an attack, and then playing one that gives him a move and a heroic action. The virus nullifies one move action, but he uses his attack to take out a Thug, his hero action rescues a civilian, and he moves to the Great Mound. Falcon next, drawing and playing an airstrike. He will lose one move action to the virus, but he places a token on the virus threat with a hero action, using his airstrike ability to fly to Xandar and take out a Thug. It's now time for Ultron's second turn. He draws a card that lets him move 5 spaces all the way to Xandar, then trigger a whole lot of spawns, and yeah, that was really quick. The board state is already looking pretty perilous. Iron Man's back up. He draws a move and a hero, but he will play Stark Resources. He loses his move action to the virus, but gives himself 2 movement tokens, moves once to Heimdall's Observatory, his attack takes out a Thug, and then he will move to Shuri's Lab. Shang-Chi's up next, drawing and playing Master Martial Artist, which gives him 3 attacks that he uses to take out all 3 Thugs at the Great Mound. He then uses his move action to move back to the shield helicarrier. Falcon draws and plays a move and an attack, using both attack actions to take out 2 Thugs on Xandar. This does complete the mission to defeat 9 Thugs, but really was probably a mistake, given that now Ultron gets to move every 2 turns instead of every 3 turns. Because of the fact that I have almost no progress made on the other 2 missions, essentially the only thing I did was make Ultron a lot more dangerous for no good reason, where if I had tried to balance it out and maybe tried to clear 2 missions in the same turn, it wouldn't have been nearly as bad. Ultron then moves 1 space to Odin's Vault, where he then spawns a boatload of civilians. I don't even know where these guys came from, and yeah, I guess I can switch to saving civilians now, which is great, I guess. Iron Man draws Advanced Combat Analysis, but plays a double hero card. He will do 1 damage to the Ultron clone, he will move to Heimdall's Observatory, and he will put 2 hero tokens on the Ultron virus, which I really couldn't even tell you why I did that. It makes no sense. I should have just rescued 2 civilians. Why did I do that? Anyway, Shang-Chi draws a hero card, plays it, and the virus will eat 1 hero action, but he will spend the remaining 2 to put on the virus to clear that threat. He will then use the helicarrier to move to Shuri's Lab. Ultron will now move over to the observatory, where he spawns a bunch of robots and the overflow carries them as far as the Great Mound. Iron Man and Shang-Chi will also take damage, meaning they have to discard cards. Iron Man because of Ultron's direct effect, and Shang-Chi to prevent the Ultron clone from spawning another guy. Falcon draws and plays a move in hero, so he rescues both civilians at Xandar and moves to Odin's vault. Iron Man draws a double attack but plays a power recharge. He loses his move action to the virus, but rescues both civilians at the observatory. Ultron moves to the shield helicarrier, spawns a lot of robots, and once again, I'm very close to defeat. Shang-Chi next draws a master martial artist but plays a single attack. He defeats one thug and rescues one civilian at Shuri's lab. Falcon draws a hero card but plays a move in hero. He will defeat one thug, move to Shuri's lab, and rescue a civilian. Ultron doesn't move, but spawns enough robots that I'm back to being one spot away from losing. Iron Man draws a move, but plays a double attack. The virus takes one attack, he defeats a thug, rescues a civilian, and moves to the helicarrier. Shang-Chi draws a hero and attack, but plays Master Martial Artist for 5 attacks, taking out the Ultron clone as well as 2 thugs. At the end of turn, he draws until his hand size is 3. Ultron moves forward to Shuri's lab, and his BAM effect spawns enough robots that I'm again one space away from losing, and not to mention Shang-Chi and Falcon take 1 damage each. Falcon draws an airstrike, but plays a hero card, moving to Heimdall's observatory, defeating a thug, and rescuing a civilian. Iron Man draws a hero action, but plays a double attack. He rescues a civilian, clearing up that mission and opening Ultron up for attacks. He takes out 2 thugs with attack tokens, and at the end of turn, he moves to Odin's vault. Fortunately for me, Ultron's next card is Encephalo Ray, which does 0 damage and just gives Falcon 1 crisis token. Shang-Chi draws a hero and attack, playing Master Martial Artist for another 5 attack turn, and takes out all 3 thugs at Shuri's lab and draws First Blood on Ultron, doing 2 damage. At the end of the turn, Shang-Chi draws a card until his hand size is 3. Falcon draws and plays an airstrike. He loses a move to the virus and uses his airstrike ability to fly over to Shuri's lab, dealing 1 damage to Ultron and attacking for another damage. At the end of turn, he will draw until his hand size is 3. Ultron draws and plays a Mesmerize, giving everybody a crisis token and spawning several robots. Now the pressure's really on because his Master Plan deck is almost fully depleted. Iron Man uses Advanced Combat Analysis, giving himself both attack tokens, moving to Shuri's lab, and using both attack tokens to deal 2 damage to Ultron. Shang-Chi plays a move and an attack, and it's now that I realize that I missed out on a pretty big opportunity, which was I should have played a card with an attack icon on Falcon's last turn. If I did that, Ultron would be dead this attack, but as is, I kind of just have to let him go and hope it's not too bad. Ultron moves 3 spaces to the Great Mound, and then his BAM effect spawns several more Ultron robots. Finally, Falcon draws a move action, but plays an airstrike, moving directly to the Great Mound, dealing 1 damage to Ultron and sealing the win for the heroes. Well, this was a pretty exciting game because all of the hero decks were depleted, and the Master Plan deck only had 2 cards left, and when those 2 cards were gone, then that's it, I lose. Probably the biggest lesson that I'm going to take from this game moving forward is to not underestimate how quickly it can get really bad when the villain can move every 2 hero turns as opposed to every 3 hero turns like normal. So for the next few games, I'm going to try making it so that I finish 2 missions really close together and seeing if that makes a huge difference in the way that I experience the game. I think that by far my best decision was my team selection, and by that I don't just mean the actual heroes that I chose, but also the order in which they took their turns. And that's a wrap for now. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to be back very soon with more episodes of Board Game Strategery. Thanks everyone, appreciate you.